Hello, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's live stream. Please do well to comment where you are streaming from in the comment box. Comment where you are streaming from in the comment box. Comment where you are streaming from in the comment box if you are just joining us. So, my name is Emmanuel Jacob. I'm your host for today's session, and we want to talk about leveraging blockchain for social economic sorry, what is it again?
Social economic relevance.
All right, so we are going to be discussing on leveraging blockchain for social economic relevance. All right, so I believe that you've um, gotten your writing materials, and we are going to write down what we are going to be um, sharing with you today. So sorry about that. I think our guest speaker is having issues with his network, and I trust he's going to be back soon. So let us know where you are streaming from in the comments below. Comment where you are streaming from. Comment where you are streaming from in the comments below. Comment where you are streaming from. Let us know where you are streaming from. Let us know where you are streaming from in the comments below. Comment where you are streaming from. So we are having a little technical issues, and everything will be fixed in no time. So kindly comment where you are streaming from in the comments below. Let's know where you are streaming from in the comments below. Let's know where you are streaming from. So I'm streaming from Ekate, Akwa Ibom State. All right, so our guest speaker is back. I'm streaming from Ekate, Akwa Ibom State. Please let me know where you are streaming from in the comments below. Comment where you are streaming from. Comment where you are streaming from. All right, so sir, please tell us a little about yourself. Let us know who you are.
Okay, thank you so much. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, sure.
All right. My name is Sabari Samuel. I'm a Web3 content developer and currently the African ambassador for Zitachain. And I basically love helping share content that would help individuals and entrepreneurs, live a much more productive and profitable life leveraging the web.
Sorry, you are not audible enough. I don't think
Oh,
our audience are able to hear what you were trying to say. So you
no,
kindly
no.
repeat that and try to be a bit
Okay.
audible.
Is it clear now? Can you hear me clearly now?
Yeah, it's very clear, just that you weren't
Okay.
audible.
I would say my name is Sabari Samuel. Sabari Samuel. I'm a Web3 content developer and then currently the African ambassador for Zitachain. I'm passionate about helping individuals, creatives basically, leverage the web and live a much more productive and profitable life.
All right, thank you so much for that. So if you are in this live stream, please let us know where you are streaming from. And please do well to share this live stream with your family and friends. Just hit on the share button, copy the link, post it across different WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, post it on your WhatsApp status, share it with your family and friends, and invite them to be a part of this session. And like I said earlier, do well to get your writing materials ready, as we are going to Mr. Samuel is going to be dishing out value for us this evening on this topic, leveraging blockchain for social relevance. All right, so without further ado, sir, I want to give you the stage for you to um teach us on how we could be able to leverage blockchain for social economic relevance. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Jacobs, for the opportunity to come share on your platform. First off, I really want to acknowledge you. You've been doing a lot of amazing stuff on this space, and it's a good
Thank you.
one. All right. Um, I'll be speaking on leveraging, blockchain for socioeconomic relevance. Now, when the word blockchain is mentioned most times, it's very common for the masses to just quickly associate blockchain to Bitcoin and just cryptocurrency, right? Now, the essence of this particular section is to help other opportunities in the blockchain ecosystem that you can also leverage on aside from just trading, cryptocurrencies. Now, cryptocurrency is just one use case of the blockchain, right? As we proceed further, I'm going to, just share step by step process that you need to follow to find, a space for yourself in the ecosystem. I think I'll be doing more of sharing my personal story, if you permit me. So that's the way, I'll be able to expressively, share, because I believe from my experience, in the space, you'll be able to, learn one or two. Now, my story into the blockchain ecosystem started far back 2016, 2017. I was this kind of person that's really passionate about knowing how things work. I really wanted to do things a smart way, to make money online and not put in so much effort like you do in the normal traditional work economy. And also, I reached out to someone who happened to be my friend, and I think we are attending the same church then, Sam Sticks, right? And I was friends with him, and he showed me a lot of stuff that actually, began to set the, path for me. I started using Steemit, okay? During the MMN time now, if you can remember, Steemit was actually a social media platform that's backed by blockchain, where you could actually make posts, and then you earn tokens from them. That's where my story into the blockchain ecosystem started. Perhaps I'll come back to that later. But one amazing thing I realized during that point where I was starting it, on Steemit, there's what's called an introduce yourself post. There's always an hashtag called introduce yourself, meaning if you're coming in for the first time, you would maybe write something like, my name is Mr. Barry Samuel. I'm so proud to be on this particular platform. This is what I hope to do. And usually such posts used to give a lot of votes. You know, when they upvote your post on Steam, it gives you tokens, right? So you could have situations where 10 persons would upvote your post, 20 persons, and sometimes at the end of 7 days, you're seeing $50, $100, and more, right? That was more of an amazing experience. And so there's no how you earn that kind of money and you don't want to tell your friend, to come in to, experience that with you as well. So we had a lot of persons coming into the ecosystem, to open an account on Steemit and started using it. Now, this is where I'm heading to. We had more persons coming in just because of the excitement of, oh, this is a paying platform, and then they join. And most times they don't go through, the process of asking the person that introduced them to really show them how the system works, right? Just because person A earned $50 or $100, you see people coming into the ecosystem and they believe they will just make one or two posts like that, and they earn even more than the person. That's where I'm heading to with this, right? That's more of what we see, today in the blockchain ecosystem, where simply because of what happened a few months ago, where I think there was a photographer that took a picture, not really a photographer per se, but I think he had photographic skills. He took a picture of a man with the talking drum, and then he sold it as NFTs. And then the news was almost everywhere, right? And then you now saw people coming into the blockchain ecosystem, and then they started snapping pictures here and there, and they wanted to sell it and then NFTs also, in the hope that they would also make money like that other guy. These are some of the mistakes a lot of persons make in the space. So when you mention blockchain, first off, there's this excitement of, oh, I'm going to trade this coin, I'm going to buy this coin, and I'll sell it like the other guy, and then I'll also make money from it also. But apart from the I'm not saying this excitement is a bad thing. It's good to be excited, right? But beyond the excitement, I want you to consider some other things as well, which is understand the technology behind this particular ecosystem you're pursuing after. Understand beyond the excitement, understand the technology that runs the blockchain. Understand monetization. How does money move on the platform? And by money now I mean value system, right? So there's something you need to do. You need to be able to provide some sort of value, for you to get monetized. Okay. And also another key thing that I hold so dear also is community, right? With what's happening in the space now, we're moving towards a community centric kind of ecosystem. That's more of Web3, right? And that's where you hear something like DIOS, decentralized autonomous organization. Now, I've mentioned four things now: excitement, technology, monetization, and community, right? And I'm saying don't just be merely excited by the idea of, oh, I want to start blockchain, I want to buy this coin, and then it will do 20x, it will do 100x. Beyond the excitement of making money in this space, try to understand how the technology works. What exactly is this blockchain? Why blockchain in the first place? And that will lead me to defining what blockchain is. And by way of definition, I'm trying not to use ambiguous words, right? I would perhaps explain it in a layman's way, so you'd appreciate and understand better. We human, we naturally do not trust ourselves, right? That's why if before this time, if let's say your parents were in Lagos, for instance, and you're in Calabar or Abuja or anywhere, and they want to send money to you, right, or any package, they will go to the park, right, and then they will look for that driver that they already know and have developed some level of trust with, and then send that package through that particular driver, right? That's basically what's been happening, right? Because of the trust they have for that particular doctor. I'm saying doctor, sorry, driver. Because you would not want to send a very sensitive package or money most times to through someone you don't know. Okay, because the possibility of the person going with the money, it's very possible. Okay, that's basically what's been happening before time, right? But the challenge with that is, what if you get to the park and then the driver had already moved? Let's say distance to Lagos, for instance. If you're in Port Harcourt, that's around 8 7 hours, right? So you would have to wait till the driver comes back, maybe the next day or maybe in 4 days time, before you send that particular package to the person. That's basically what's been happening in the traditional value chain system. Okay. And then people, or let me say organizations, started looking at, oh, if we continue like this, we end up wasting time and you would maybe waste life as well. Imagine if it was a life and death situation where, let's say, your parents needed to send a particular kind of food, that was recommended by your doctor or something, and then the driver they already trust is not there, and then they have to wait for him to return before they send it. You might definitely lose your life. Okay. Or let's say it's a money situation. Let's say someone is in the hospital and it's very critical and they need to send money, or just about anything. Okay. It would waste a lot of time. And that's why certain individuals or let's say governments set up certain structures, to help bridge this gap, to bridge this trust gap, right? That's why you have people like Konga, for instance. That's why you have people like Jomia, for instance, and some of these delivery um, platforms that you know of, or even Petronize. Okay, these guys are serving as intermediaries. They are helping you bridge the trust. You understand? For instance, the people you buy stuff from on Konga, for instance, do you think it's Konga that actually owns those products? No, it's not Konga. Konga is just serving as an intermediary between you, the consumer, and the manufacturer of that particular product that you want to buy. But of course, for them to do this thing, you know, they actually charge you some amount of service fee, right? They charge you some amount of service fee. That's just in the service industry, in e-commerce. Let's go back to the banking system, okay? For you to, instead of using the bus driver that I mentioned earlier, right? You now send money through the bank, right? From, let's say, Lagos, and then someone in Abuja will receive the money, or someone in, any part of the country, and they receive it within few seconds, right? So the bank now has helped bridge that trust, sending it through the driver, like you would have done initially, which would have taken more time, and it would also require a lot of effort. You're now sending it through the bank, right? And then the person you're sending the money to receives it almost instantly. So the bank is serving as an intermediary as well. But of course, for this service that they're providing, they also charge you. Let's understand the bank is a business, right? Run by certain individuals and of course the government as well, right? And that's why they even have what's called a central authority, like the central bank, would serving as a watchdog to oversee, whatever activities that is happening within that financial ecosystem. Now, where am I going with this? Now, let's also imagine what happened during COVID, right? During COVID, in Nigeria, we would call it palliatives, right? In other parts of the countries over in the world, they called it stimulus, right? Now, what this meant was they actually you saw it on the news where they were actually giving food items and even money to individuals, right, as a way of helping them stay more of um, we see what's going on globally. We see the effect of COVID-19, and we're giving this to you as a government to show we love you, we support you, and we want you to come out strong out of this. Now, my question is, those money they were given as palliatives, or they were given as stimulus, where was it coming from? Right? It was actually printed, of course, right? And of course, when you print more money into the economy like that, just the simple principle of economics, if a particular commodity is in excess supply, you know, inflation sets in. And that's exactly the challenge we're having up till now, right? That simple act of benevolence or sympathy, as I would put it, by government, trying to help the citizens, which made them print more money at that time, seemed like something really good to do. But in the long run, it has a lot of economical impact, right? And of course, you know what's happening to the Nigerian currency now. So blockchain is actually coming in to salvage, some of these things I've just mentioned now, right? Blockchain has a lot of use case, right? Blockchain has use case in the banking and finance sector. It has use case in transportation. It has use case in e-commerce. It has use case in education. It has use case in agriculture, it has use case in medicine, it has use case in virtually every area of human discipline or endeavor. Right, blockchain has real-time use case in all of these sectors. Right. So, what exactly is blockchain, Self? Right. Sometimes people make blockchain appear to be this rocket science kind of thing. If you're following closely with some of these real life examples I gave, about you sending money through the driver, using Conga, using the bank to send money, and I mentioned all of these people I gave examples of are serving as intermediaries, right? And because they're serving as intermediaries, some of them they're doing it as business. They're going to be charging you certain amount of fees, because you're using their platform, right? And to some extent, you really do not have any control over some of these fees that they charge you. Let's use the bank, for instance. They charge you ATM maintenance fee, debit alert, credit alert, and all of that. And you have little or no control over, such fees. All right. So blockchain is actually coming to make it easier for you to do all of these things that I've mentioned and even more without the interference of, a middleman or without an intermediary, right? So the unique thing about blockchain is it's a decentralized ledger system. It's a decentralized protocol, right? In fact, I refer to the blockchain as the 21st century bank, that enables you to monetary transaction and also serve as a store of value. Now, one amazing thing about the blockchain, I think, was the introduction of the smart contract that also enables you to build, other applications and do a lot of other amazing stuff, on the blockchain. So, how do you leverage blockchain? I think that's the core of what we're discussing this evening. How do you leverage blockchain for social and economic relevance, right? Basically, what I mean is, how do you take advantage of this technology to better your life? How do you take advantage of this technology to improve in your business, to improve in your studies, to improve in whatever it is that you're doing? These are some of the things we're going to be looking at in, I think, the next 5 to 10 minutes, right? And then, of course, I'll give room for you guys to ask questions, right? I want this section to be as interactive as possible so you can ask real life questions, and then I'll prefer answers to them as well as much as I can. Like I mentioned initially, when we mention or talk about blockchain, a lot of persons are very quick to associate it to Bitcoin. Blockchain and Bitcoin, they are not the same thing, right? They are not. Blockchain is more like I'll use this scenario of a rail, right, and the train. The rail, it's more like that infrastructure already on ground, right? That foundation. And then you see the trains passing on top of it. So we'll have different kinds of train, of course. We'll have the cargo by either by function or by usage. We'll have the cargo train, the passenger train, you even have the electric train, the hybrid train, different kinds of train, but they're still moving on, the rail, right? So that's basically, I'm just using that analogy to kind of explain to you, in a layman way, what blockchain is, right? So blockchain is actually that infrastructure that enables you to do monetary transactions and also do a lot of other things, okay? Now, I said blockchain and Bitcoin are not the same thing, right? Bitcoin is just, it's an example of cryptocurrency, right? So it's more like cryptocurrency is an economy, right? A digital economy that runs on the blockchain. Okay. So what I want to do this evening is to help you, kind of to redirect your attention to other parts of blockchain use case that you can actually utilize to make a living for yourself, right? How do you leverage on blockchain? You can leverage on blockchain by trade and investments, which is where a lot of persons kind of focus more attention on nowadays, right? Of course, I trade, and but for the last 1 year, right, I've not been actively trading, right? And that's because of an experience that happened to me. I had to look out for, I was asking myself the question of what else can I do apart from trading, that I can still make impact. and then of course get money in return and live a much more sustainable and profitable life leveraging blockchain, right? That's where I stumbled on some other things that you can do, right? Number one, in no particular order, I've mentioned trading and investment, right? So apart from buying a coin and selling later, right? You could also do what's called, I think that falls under DeFi, right? Staking, right? When you there's a particular token that I staked since it's up to a year plus now, and it's been giving me um, an amazing turnover in the form of um, daily and weekly rewards, for staking, and as well airdrops, right? I've gotten airdrops that's 10x more than what I even invested in the first place. That's just one way. Okay, if we should start talking about airdrops, that's another discussion on its own. But it's one thing you can actually leverage on, right? We even have more of testnet airdrops nowadays where you don't even need to put in your money, right? All you need to do is to interact with their protocols. Just interact with your wallet, do one or two tasks, and then you get rewarded at the end of the day when they go mainnet, right? Another way you can leverage on the blockchain technology for social economic relevance is volunteering, right? Or what I'll call ambassadorship programs, right? See, you need to start looking at, looking out for platforms where you can, um, deploy your skills, right? Okay, can you hear me now? Is it audible enough now? Someone was saying it's not audible enough. Is it audible enough now? I need that feedback, please. Is it audible enough? Like, please, I just need your feedback. Okay, awesome. I need to be at the top. Sorry, where I live is kind of very quiet. So that's why I was kind of bringing my voice down, right? So I've mentioned trading and investments, right? Where I talked about trading is basically you buy low, you sell high later, right? And of course, you need to understand a little bit of fundamental and technical analysis for you to do trading proper, right? You could as well do the investment part, which is more of the staking, right? Because most times when you're staking, it's basically mid time and even long term, right? For you to actually reap a better reward out of it. So where I was talking about ambassadorship programs, that has changed my life, honestly, right? I was telling you when I was introducing myself that I'm currently the African ambassador for Zeta Chain, right? And that's because I was able to see what you need to do. Like I was saying, it's look out for platforms, look out for communities where you can deploy your skills. Blockchain is not just about trading alone, right? If you're a graphic designer, if you're a content creator, right? This money alone, there's a particular people I'm writing content for, right? That's what I think is what $40, you know, that's about 30 something K also writing content for blockchain protocols, right? So there are ways to do these things, right? So if you don't know how to trade, maybe because you've not learned it yet, it's not a problem. If you know how to write, if you're a content creator, there's space for you in this ecosystem. If you know how to manage communities, right? See, all this WhatsApp group you're on and you've been serving as admin, all of those skills should not be a waste. There's a proper way to utilize them, on certain blockchain communities that they will start paying you for them. Oh, sorry, my lights went off. That they'll start paying you for them. There are platforms you can actually utilize to do that, right? One of such platform is Telegram, for instance. Okay, just a minute. Let me turn on my light again. Telegram, of course, it's one of those platforms where you can actually, uh, utilize your community management skills, and they will pay you, right? It's more of doing moderation gigs. Okay, they'll pay you for. I'm telling you what I do, right? And they pay for it. There's a particular up. I've been chatting for the past it's up to 3 months now, right? And they pay every week just for chat engagement on Discord, right? Let me not dwell much on that. Okay. ambassadorship program, like I mentioned, okay, where for you to be an ambassador, of course, you need to have a certain level of knowledge, right? Because an ambassador means you're representing that particular brand, right? So of course, you need to go read more about those particular brands, because in most cases, you'll be helping them do AMAs, right? You'll be helping them maybe organize a meetup in your catchment area, or sometimes even do it online for them, and they'll pay you for all of these services that you provide for them, right? I've mentioned that's second, right? The third one is you could be a freelancer, right, for certain blockchain startups, right, and provide content for them. Either the video content, of course, right? I've been coming across that a lot of recent, where they're looking for people that can, curate videos for them and share on their especially TikTok nowadays, right? So if you have a TikTok account and you have, a 7 level of followership, there are brands that actually need such influence, and they will pay you, of course, in return for that. And then another way is I've talked about content, graphic design as well. It's one hot cake in the space. You know, the world revolves around graphics. Basically, there's no project that would come that you know, graphics helps tell that brand story. Okay, so if you're someone that's good in graphics, you can also deploy that skill. For any brand that requests such services, and they'll pay you. At the end of the day for it. Okay. Now, in summary, right? I've established the fact that there are a lot of use case, for blockchain. Blockchain is not it's not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an example of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is just like a monetary digital economy that runs on the blockchain. So the blockchain is more like the foundation, the base, that decentralized ledger system or protocol that gives room for monetary transactions to take place, for you to deploy your product, using smart contracts, developing dApps. dApps is decentralized applications, right? And then more importantly, we're moving towards the community-centric kind of environment now in the blockchain ecosystem, where you're seeing more of what's called DAOs. DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization, right? Me personally, I'm more of a community person, right? And I've not really been actively trading, right? I do more of community engagement for certain brands, right? And that's basically what's been helping me, right? So start working on your leadership skills. Start working on your interpersonal relationship skills. These things actually matters, right? For some of these brands you'll be working for, I've been working for some of them and I've not met them per se in person, right? But we've been having very good vibes, relationship and engagement on Discord, right? And that leads me to um, telling you to learn. There are certain skills you need to learn, right? I've mentioned you need to learn leadership skill, communication skills, and then there are certain platforms you need to learn how to use as well if you want to stay relevant and economically viable in this space. Number one is Twitter. Learn how to use Twitter. Learn how to use Discord. Learn how to use Telegram. Learn how to use YouTube, right? These platforms are very important. Learn how to use these platforms, okay? And then, as I mentioned Discord, right? There are times much of the moderation stuff, community management gigs I talked about, most times it revolves around Discord. They're always looking for people that will manage communities on Discord, and they'll pay them for doing that. They're also looking for people that would create Discord servers or Discord bots, for them, and they will pay them, of course, for doing this, right? So learn how to use this blockchain-enabled social media platforms. It will give you a lot of advantage in this space. I think I would love to pause here and entertain questions. I'm just trying to keep track of time. I think we're given 30 minutes and I've already used 4 minutes into the time.
All right, all right, all right. That was super amazing. Thank you so much for the value. So we want to give our audience the opportunity to ask questions. So if you have any questions in regard to um, how to leverage opportunities in the blockchain ecosystem, please do well to drop it in the comments below. Do well to drop your questions in the comments below, and our speaker is going to help you with the answer. Drop your questions. It's time for question. Drop your questions in the comments below. Drop your questions. Drop your questions. All right, so we have our first question coming from Airdrop Mint. And the question is, how can we find testnet projects to participate in? Mhm.
Okay, like I mentioned, this testnet stuff actually falls under this category of airdrops, right? Before now, I think the commonest form of airdrop were they were just airdrop actually started from Telegram, where there will be most times you interact with bots, but they are actually advancing over time, right? From that answering question and interacting with bots, they actually move to the knowledge-based kind of airdrop where they will ask you questions and expect you to provide correct answers to them. And then when you provide those correct answers, it will enable you get the free tokens they're going to give to you. And one of the things that was very important in engaging with all of this airdrop was there's something that's called FCFS, first come first serve, right? You really needed to be very fast in answering this question and filling. In fact, that was what made me change my phone as of the time, because I was using a phone that the RAM size was not really fast enough, right? So away from that, there are different kinds of airdrops, of course, right? There's the what I will call the philanthropic kind of airdrop, where most times you necessarily don't need to do anything. Maybe an influencer or somebody in the space, or let's say a startup can decide to say, oh, we're giving airdrop to the first 3% or the first 10% that will just share their wallet address. So you really did not have to do anything. I consider that to be a philanthropic kind of airdrop. And then there are other ones known as the holders airdrop. The holders airdrop means you need to be holding a particular token, right? And most times it's very advisable you hold those tokens in your private wallet, not public exchanges, because public exchanges will not really support airdrops most times, right? So even if they get the token, you will not have access to them. So it's really important you have these tokens in your private wallet. That's the holders kind of airdrop, right? And some of them might even need you to have that token to a certain amount, right? Maybe from $10 above and all of that. So if you're holding any of those tokens in your wallet and they took snapshots of it, right, automatically you'll be eligible to claim it. Now there's one that's called retroactive airdrop. The retroactive, like the word is retroactive, that means you need to interact with their platform. And this airdrop, the testnet falls under that retroactive category, right? Now, retroactive means you need to interact, right? I think there was a time um, there was an airdrop like that for Nia. I think that was like 4 months ago, where all they needed you to do was to trade on a particular exchange, and they gave just a very short time frame for it. Right, just swap your token from this to Nia, and if you do it within that time frame they give, you're automatically eligible for that particular airdrop. Right, some will need you to just like Uniswap, for instance, the YDX, right? For Chromebo, which other one? This year, okay, that was early last year. Rex airdrop, Evmos, they gave airdrop as well, right? For just reacting. I got for some of these Evmos, for instance, because I was using a wallet called Kepler. Just because I had opened Kepler and I've used it for one or two transactions, I was automatically eligible for that particular airdrop. So those are retroactive kind of airdrops. Now, the testnet airdrop also falls under that category of retroactive, right? Now, testnet means there are certain projects, right, that they've not gone mainnet, they've not gone live, they're still testing some stuffs out, right? And then most times they just need real-time users, to engage with their protocol. And then when you engage, you give feedbacks, right? Maybe encountered a bug or something, right? In most cases, they might have a form for you to fill, and then you send those feedbacks. Now, at the end of the whatever time they gave for that test net, right? When they eventually go mainnet, right? They automatically will take snapshots of all of the wallets, that interacted with their protocol, right? And you'll be eligible for airdrops, right? Now, let me just share this with you, right? Um, I'm not guaranteeing they're going to give an airdrop, right? But you can do it to position yourself for something amazing that's going to happen, and that's for Zeta Chain, right? I am privileged to work with them as an ambassador, so somehow I have in-house info to certain things, right? Please, for the records, I'm not telling you they're going to give airdrops, please so, right? But from what we've seen over time, it's very likely that will happen, right? So perhaps I'll share with you, Mr. Jacobs, maybe. I think there's a video or something I did just to explain how to go about it. Let me just give the explanation so you understand what happens, right? So basically, what you're supposed to do is you could as well join the Zeta Chain community also on Discord. There are a lot of rules for you, right? And what they do most times, it's before now you could actually apply for some of these things, but the strategy most of these dials are using now, it's they don't really do the application. Some of them just put the application for official documentation process, but they don't actually get people from there. They get people from people who interact organically. I'm not just saying this for Zeta Chain, for some other projects also, right? So you sometimes see a form online, say apply for this, but they've already gotten people for those rules on their Discord channel. I don't know if you guys understand me. What I'm just saying is try as much as you can to engage with these platforms, organically on their different community platforms, and you never can. I got my role, for instance, doing that. I was just, you know, chatting, answering questions. I was doing it from my mind. I was not expecting anything, but after like 2 weeks of doing that, one of the admins reached out to me and I was like, "Oh, we've seen your work. Would love you to become a contributor." From a contributor, I became an ambassador, right? And that has been the case for some other persons that I know of. The person of Babs, for instance, Emmanuel, I think he's currently the CEO of Bondu or so, Sam Sticks, and I know even Emmanuel Jacobs here, you know, that's just the pattern. You understand me? Look, I mentioned look out for what value you can give to certain platforms, and definitely you get the reward at the end of the day, right? So testnet means if you have a community, I can maybe share some of those links so they can also participate in some of the testnets that are currently available. I think there's one for optimism now as well. you know Gitcoin is also, they just started Gitcoin donation 2 days ago, right? And if you engage with stuff like this, and after you've engaged, please, it's not a Ponzi scheme, right? Patience is very important. There are platforms I engaged with 1 year ago, and it's now I'm reaping the benefits, right? And it's, when I say benefit, it's good amount of money. I hope I answered that. Okay, the other question is saying, how do I get a crypto job, sir? I'm a content creator. I've just answered that in the few words I shared a few minutes ago. Okay, but let me just say it again. How you get as a content creator, it's start writing content. How do I know you're a content creator? See, let's move away from the title stuff, right? Let's move away from title. If you're a content creator, create content. Create content and be very strategic about the content you're creating. Use LinkedIn, yes. Use LinkedIn very well. Create content, about a particular subject area you're good in. Create content on Twitter. Create content on Medium, right? And use relevant hashtags. Jobs will look for you. I'm telling you. You don't need to apply like I was telling you. If you want to apply, you can just do it, but there's a way you position yourself and the jobs will look for you, right? Personally, there are certain I do chat engagement stuff on Discord, and most times it's that guy that refers me to other project that he wants me to do the same thing. These are things people are applying for. I don't know if you understand me. So start, if you're a content creator, what kind of content can you create? You're saying crypto jobs. Start creating content about, maybe there's a particular news, in the crypto space, and you want to shed more light on it. You just want to make people feel your own perspective about that particular stuff. Write contents about them. How to do videos. If you can create video content, do it and share on YouTube, right? Create content and share on Twitter. Join spaces also, right? Because in is it it's in okay, imagine if you were not here, for instance. No, just imagine. Imagine if you're not here. And that's the challenge we have most times. A lot of people just sit back and fold their hands and think things will just happen like that. You need to strategically position yourself and go to places where those kind of people you're looking out for, they'll be there. Personally, I'm someone that attends events a lot in the states where I am, right? And that is what has built me because of events. Most of the relation, Emmanuel Jacobs, for instance, at an event I met him. It's just so amazing, But after I met him at that event, I think he usually used to. One of the things I noticed about you, sir, it's and for every event we have, I know it was a strategy for you, I know, and I really loved it. You take your studio stuff and you start taking video records. I noticed that about you, right? You know, that's you giving value. You understand? That's you providing contents as well, right? So whatever it is you know how to do, if you're a graphic designer, content comes in several formats. Just go ahead and start. Don't wait for you to have a job first. Just start giving content, and before you know, people will start coming to your DM. Oh, I love how you talked about this. Can you shed more light? Can you teach me about this? Oh, would love you to write for so and so person. That's just how it starts. I told you I have a gig as of recent that I'm writing for. I think it's just about a 300 to 800 letter content, and they are paying around, I think it's $50 for it. I just have like 2 days to deliver. Who will pay you that kind of money? But you need to show proof. Before I got the gig, I had to show I had to show them previous content I've written for other crypto companies before they would accept me, right? So imagine if I've not been writing before and I want to apply now. They will consider some other person that has proof, like portfolio, right? So when they ask for your portfolio, most times it's those contents you've been writing, and you can just use your social media handle and share. That leads me to your social media. Take your social media, very important, right? Because most times when you're on LinkedIn, for instance, or you're on Twitter, and then you make a comment on somebody's post, it's just a simple click. Somebody will just click on your username and go to your profile, and they want to know more about you. Your social media profile, it's your 21st century CV. And the amazing thing is, you don't need to be there, to be explaining yourself to whomsoever wanted to hire you, right? So if you're a content creator, for instance, right, and you're good at what you do, but I go to your social media and I'm not seeing any content you've written in the past 7 days, what does that tell about you? Instead, I'm seeing you taking selfie, and then I'm seeing a lot of beer bottles at the back. You're not beer ambassador, to cry out loud. So be deliberate, be strategic. That's basically what I'm telling you. If you go to my social media platform, I'm not where I need to be, but I'm very deliberate about every content that I put out, right? So that's how to do it. I hope that was fair enough.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for that. So we've come to the end of today's session. So before we close out, I'd like to add, just like Mr. Samuel has said, since today's topic was leveraging blockchain for social and economic relevance, so for you to be able to leverage these opportunities in the blockchain ecosystem, you have to be a person of value, just like Mr. Samuel has said. A person of value is not about writing application letters. It's not about sitting down and saying there is no job. First of all, make yourself a person of value and start sharing your journey on social media platforms. Let your social media pages be your own portfolio, such that once someone comes to your page, then they will say, okay, wow, this is what this person has been up to. This is what this person has been doing over time. Then they can tell if you are fit for whatever it is role they might want you to play, and you can be employed due to that. So it's high time you start being intentional about what you want and go for it, rather than sitting and wishing that maybe one day you are going to be lucky, or maybe God is going to make a way for you. You might even start going to church and praying that God will send a job for you or something. So you have to be intentional. You have to be strategic. You have to invest in yourself. You have to go out for events. You have to let the world know what you can do. All right. We have a lot of jobs opportunities actually, but we have um, a few persons that make themselves available to be fine fit for a particular role. All right, so that is where we want to draw the curtain. And Mr. Samuel, I hope you are going to send me some resources in regards to TasteNet and other stuff, so I can share it with my community. So if you are yet to join our Telegram channel, please, I'm going to drop a link in the description of this video and the comments as well. As in regards the question Zit Airdrop was asking how to find testnet projects and all. So that would be all for now, and I hope you join us next week, same channel, same time, 6 p.m., as we are going to be bringing you another episode of our weekly YouTube live series. So thank you so much, Mr. Samuel, for honoring our invitation. I
Yeah,
really
no
do
problem.
appreciate.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
All right, so thank you guys. Goodbye.